And I had this kid come to me a couple of weeks ago, and he says, Swami, and I can't find a job. And his young kid is about 20, 21 years old or so, and he's a Lakshmi. So he's looking for a job and he can't find no job, and he goes to New York and his friend promised him a job. But when he came to me, I said to him, I says, you have to do a little fasting and so on. You have to take 30 days or so, do your fasting, do your thing, and you'll get the job. He said, but 30 days, that's a long time. I said, how long have you been out of a job? He said, about 3 months. So I said, well, you've been trying to get a job for 3 months, but you can't give me 30 days? Okay? So right away now, from that statement, I knew why he's not working. Because what does that one statement told me? He's lazy. He will not get a job, because, and he told me, he even told me himself, that he went to a few jobs, he worked a couple of days, and then they got fired. Why did he get fired? Because he's not devoted. So he keeps calling me, and I keep telling him, he says, what you should do is offer to work free for the boss for 2 days, 2 or 3 days. What will happen when you offer to work free? He will learn devotion. See, the Guru knows everything about you. The Guru knows everything that's happening to you. And he uses that information to make you a better person. A true Guru of that. He uses that information to make you a better person. He knows everything that's going to happen to you, right? Right? It's just that he tells you these things because he wants you to do it so that you can have a happier life. And the key to everything is knowledge. We have to have knowledge. In other words, don't just come when you're sick, when you have a problem, when the business has gone down, when you have a job problem or anything. Come when the knowledge is available, so that you can learn that knowledge and go higher. Right? Someone told me the other day, they said, Swami, how do you know all these things through the numbers? You must have been a great mathematician. And how do you know that exactly the guy is going to come on the 15th exactly? I said, because of the knowledge. Right? So he says, well, why doesn't everybody does this? Because he's impressed with this. He says, why doesn't everybody? I said, they're not ready. They're not recognizing. This life code science should have been like from the White House. This is so powerful. The numbers are so amazing. Don't you agree? I mean, all of you experience it. These numbers are amazing. But you know why it's not there? Because they're not ready. They don't recognize it. Everybody is trying to get a quick pill. Right? Run to the doctor quick, as soon as you get a pain. Run to the doctor as soon as you get a little indigestion. Run to the medicine cabinet. Right? Run to this person, run to that person. No. You can do it yourself. You can enjoy the gift and the happiness of having the knowledge of your life through the numbers, which is the life goal. Numbers. And you'll be surprised. There's an order in the universe. And the order follows what you call karma. And the karma is what makes you have this problem that you have right now. If you are suffering from marriage life problems, look at your mother and your father. If you're suffering from job problems, okay, look at what you have been doing in the last 10 years with job. Look at what you have done. You've had disagreement with bosses, you've had dissatisfaction at work, it's part of the devotion. Right? You know what's greatest, what I call great devotion? One of my greatest tests of devotion is when the person is willing to self-sacrifice themselves for the other person. Right? You're surprised. I mean, the guy comes home, he says to his wife, could you get some coffee and cookies or whatever for me? And she says, I don't have time now. But he goes to the work and he tells the secretary, get me some coffee and cookies, and the secretary does it. Now he thinks the secretary is more loving than the wife. Right? Starts to have an affair. Right? And then the wife comes back and complains, Swami, he's a bad man. But she didn't look back and say that she didn't give him the coffee and the cookie. Started the whole thing. Whatever we experience in our life, we created it. And life code gives you a chance to look at that, because here's how life code works. If you're running a 9 or a 6, right, year or month or day, look back 3 days ago and see what you did. And you will see how it, opposite to what you did, what you're experiencing. If you're experiencing a bad month, look back 3 months. If you're experiencing a 9 month, look back 3 months ago what you did. And you will see that if you, for example, quarrel with your boss 3 months ago, you'll have a job problem now. Right? If you quarrel with your boss 3 years ago, you'll have a job problem now. It's amazing. Never fails. This is the karma of your actions. So there are what you call different stages of the karma. For example, if you mess up in the 9 year, let's say somebody robbed you some money in the 9 years, or you got fired in 9 years. It has good karma too. 2 years later, you get a better job, right? And you get more money. It's amazing. If you trace that, you'll be amazed. The guy who suffers robbery in a 9 year gets twice the amount that he lost in a 2 year. The person who enjoys great romance and sex and everything in a 5 year gets separated in a 6 year. You can check it out anytime you want and let me know if I'm wrong. Right? The person who argues with their family and everything in a 6 year takes the problem lasts 3 years. In a 9 year gets solved. If a man leaves his wife in a 9 year, he returns back after a year by all laws of rule of the universe. Isn't that nice to know? If you can take this knowledge and you can make it part of your life, you can know when things are going to happen and when you should do things. And what is the karma of these things. You know, I know a lot of people come, they have problems and everything. But you know, when they come, I go back 3 years back and I see why they were separated. Why he separated from his wife? Why he separated from his husband? Because of karma. Because they're doing it themselves. You know? So before you ask the question, why am I suffering? First ask, what did I do to create the suffering? And it's because of a lack of devotion to knowledge. You can become a millionaire, I'm telling you. Everyone of you can become a millionaire just by having the knowledge. Because very simple. If you're opening a business, let's say, you're going to start a new job, right? And you got to ask for a raise or something like that. If you know exactly what time to ask for a raise and what time the guy is going to say yes, you will get that raise. And if you know exactly when to start a job, or when the job is going to come. You know? I'll show you some amazing emails I get. Like somebody calls and says, Swami, you said the house will sell on the 15th, it's sold on the 15th. It's amazing. I said this will sell by September 15th. And then they come back and they tell me. Right? Right? Somebody wrote from Canada last night. She's in a number 9 house. Right? They're trying to sell, the guy trying to get a job. The husband out of a job for about 3 or 4 years, and it's in a number 9 house. I said, okay, 2 things you have to do. Sell the number 9 house and start the fast and do these things, these baths and so on. He wrote a letter last night. She says, oh, she's so happy. She never thought the house would sell, the house sold. And that's only 3 months ago I spoke to her. And the husband got a job. It's amazing. When did you think that God could not help you? The only way you would think that God could not help you is when you did not have devotion for God. God is always wanting to help you. God is always there to help you. The Lord is always there to provide you with your wishes. But you are the one who have to be devoted. Just like if the wife is devoted to the husband, he can never find a fault with her. He makes sure she gets his food, he gets his coffee, he gets his breakfast, and she does everything. He'll become king, then she'll become queen. Very simple. It's a simple equation. But people don't see it. It's amazing. Not only that, if the husband is devoted, right? If the husband is devoted, they will never lose their house, they will never, because their wife and him will work together. Right? I had an interesting one last night. See, I get all these calls in a day, can you imagine? So he comes home, they got a young couple, they got married about 3-4 years ago, maybe. So I did the wedding and so on. And then, so she comes home, she says she's quarreling every day. She says, Swami, as soon as I walk in that door, she's quarreling every day. Right? And I'm talking to her on the phone, she's right here. And she's quarreling. Right? So I said, from the way she's quarreling, she's very frustrated. When last did you guys make love? And she jumps on the phone and she says, Swami, it's almost been 6 to 8 months. And I started laughing. I started laughing because I realize now that there's a lack of love that's making her frustrated and quarreling. Right? So I said, okay, problem solved. Okay? You need to get going. Right? This morning he called and they happened. Because he hasn't been creating his devotion to her. And women like attention. Women love attention. When there's a lack of attention, they get frustrated. They get they say all kinds of things. And the mouth is the first thing to destroy. You know, the mouth of the woman is shaped like a bow and arrow. The tongue is pointed like an arrow, and that's why Durga has a bow and arrow in her hand. Because a woman can destroy a man through her mouth. Yeah, you got to realize how powerful your mouth is. Because why? Because mother is the first word, ma, in every language. So mother can make you go up or go down. No matter what happens, you need to worship your mother. You need to connect with your mother. Never ignore your mother. Right? And I can prove to you. Find all the girls who are unhappy with their husbands or their married life and ask them what kind of relationship they have with their mother. And definitely I'll prove to you that relationship with mother is very important. Right? So